Hello and welcome to our first flip to Nach video of the year on Yirmiyahu, Parak Aleph, Jeremiah, chapter 1. This parak deals with the very beginning of the career of Yirmiyahu, what's called often Hakdashah, or the inaugural prophecy. Very often, Nevi'im have a prophecy at the beginning of their career that shows how they first became a Navi, similar lahabdil to a superhero like Batman Begins, or the beginning of Superman's career in Man of Steel, where they have the story that shows how they first became who they became. So let's start now with Yirmiyahu, and it begins with some biographical background information about Yirmiyahu, and about the time period, and about the place. Divrei Yirmiyahu ben Chilkiyahu, these are the words of Yirmiyahu, the son of Chilkiyahu, Mina Kohanim Asher Banotot Be'eret Binyamin. He was from the priests who lived in Anotot in the land of Binyamin. So we learned already a couple of things about Yirmiyahu. We learned that he's a Kohen, he's a priest, he could have served in the Beit HaMikdash, that he lived in Anotot, which is a little village, a little short walk from Yerushalayim, but he didn't actually live in Yerushalayim. He lived in the land of Binyamin, which borders Yerushalayim. Asher haya devar Hashem meila bimei Yoshio ben Amon melech Yehuda b'shlos esrei shana l'malko. And God first spoke to him during the career of Yoshio ben Amon, the king of Yehuda. Yoshio was the last great king of Yehuda, and he led the Baal Tshuva movement, and he was a king for a number of years. And Yirmiyahu became king during the 13th year. Yirmiyahu became prophet during the 13th year of Yoshio's reign. And he continued being a prophet for many years after that. But he bimei Yoyakim ben Yoshio melech Yehuda. He was a prophet during the career of Yoyakim. Yoyakim was one of the sons of Yoshio, the king of Yehuda. Atom Ashtreya Esrei Shana l'Tzidkiyahu ben Yoshio melech Yehuda, until the end of the 12th year of Tzidkiyahu. Tzidkiyahu was the last of the kings of Yehuda, because it was Ad Gilot. It was until the Galut Yerushalayim, until the exile of Jerusalem, B'chodesh HaChamishi, in the 5th month. We know what this is referring to. The final exile of Yerushalayim took place during the month of Av, during the 5th month, like we have Tisha B'Av. The Beit HaMikdash was destroyed during the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th of Av. So Yirmiyahu was a prophet from the last heyday of Yehuda through about 40 years worth of kings to the complete downfall of Yehuda. You can already anticipate what type of prophecies Yirmiyahu is going to have to give and what type of career he's going to have. Vayihi devar Hashem melai lemor. Hashem spoke to him saying, B'terem et tarecha b'beten yitaticha. Before you were formed in the belly, I already knew you. U'b'terem teitzei meirecha mikdashticha. Before you came from the womb, I had already appointed you. Here the word hakdashah. I had already inaugurated you, appointed you as a prophet. Navi l'goyim netachtika. I made you a prophet for the goyim. So we see he's not only a prophet for Yehuda, but he's a prophet for all the nations around him that he made him. So we see already here that Hashem basically telling Yirmiyahu, you don't really have a choice. You're not choosing to be a prophet because I created you as a prophet. Va'omar Hashem Elokim. And Yirmiyahu says, whoa, God, wait a second. Hilei lo yadati daber. I don't know how to speak. Ki nara nochi. I'm just a boy. And we got to understand Yirmiyahu's response. Obviously, Yirmiyahu's response is initially no. Like many of the prophets who are given a prophecy, he didn't want to be a Navi.
That's how I feel whenever I raise my hand in class.
Thank you, Batzalo, and you're now on YouTube. And he says, I am just a boy. I am a nar. I can't speak. So what does that mean he can't speak? Is he saying that he is young and therefore he's not going to be taken seriously? Is he saying that he just doesn't know how to speak well because he's not educated enough? Is he saying, like my son said, he's nervous, he's scared? We're going to have to see what this means. And we'll look at the Mefarshim on that. Vayomer Hashem melai. And Hashem, of course, responds, Al tomar nar nochi. Don't say you're just a boy. Because everywhere I send you, you will go. And everything I command you, you will speak. So he says, don't worry that you're just a boy. Don't be afraid of them. I am with you to save you. Num Hashem, the words of Hashem. So we see here a couple of things. First of all, he says, like Hashem often says, don't worry, you're just my mouthpiece, and I am the one sending you, and I am the one commanding you, and therefore you don't have to worry about the fact you can't speak because I'll speak for you. But then he says something else. He said, don't be afraid. I will save you. Now the question is, did Yirmiyahu say he was afraid? He said he was a boy. We don't know at this point whether he was saying it a boy because he was scared or he was saying a boy because he's just not worthy. But Hashem's immediate response is, I will save you, and therefore you don't have to be worried. This already implies that Yirmiyahu is going to need something to be saved from. That it's not going to be such a honky-dory time for Yirmiyahu. So let's now continue with the next pasuk, and we're going to see a little bit why this could be the case. Vayishlach Hashem et yado. Hashem puts his mouth vayaga al pi, and he touches his lips. Vayom Hashem Elahi hinei natati devarai bepicha. I put in my words into your mouth. So we have another thing that's very common. First of all, that Yirmiyahu would initially refuse his mission. And second of all, that Hashem's response would then be to touch his lips. Hashem would almost, kabiyachal, like put words into Yirmiyahu's mouth. And he says, I put words into your mouth. Literally, maybe that's where the quote comes from. I have touched your lips. You are now a prophet. And now Hashem says something about the nature of the mission. Behold, I have appointed you today. Ala goyim, on the nations, ala mamlachot, and on the kingdoms. And now we have 4 words of destruction, followed by 2 words of rebuilding. Lintosh, to pull down. Lintots, to uproot. Lahavid, to destroy. Ulaharos, and to overthrow. So we have 4 words of destruction. Lintot, to pull down. Lintosh, to uproot. Lintot, to pull down. Lavid, to destroy. Ulaharos, and to overthrow. Livnot, then 2 words of rebuilding. To rebuild. Ulintoa, and to plant. So we have here that Hashem says primarily you're going to be a prophet of destruction. You have 4 words of destruction. You're going to be destroying. Because this nation now needs to be destroyed. Sometimes you have something that's so rotted that to the bone that the only way to fix a structure is first to knock down all the bad parts. And only then can you rebuild, only then can you replant, only then can you bring back to life. So your prophecy is primarily going to be one of destruction. Next video, we're going to see more about the initial prophecy of Yirmiyahu and the specific vision that Yirmiyahu is going to see. Thank you very much.